So it's been revealed that Jenna Ortega auditioned for a role in Dune Part 1, and the reactions to the news have been quite surprising. So I'm just going to pick an article to read from that covers this topic. So we'll choose the Variety article. So it says, Jenna Ortega has a hunch that she auditioned for Denis Villeneuve's Dune adaptation 6 years ago. During a BuzzFeed interview, the actor shared that she was excited to meet with the director when the project was still in development. And this is the clip where she revealed that she auditioned for Dune.
I auditioned for Dune when I was about 15. I remember just being a big fan of that film and the franchise and everything like that, and being really excited for that interview because Denis is one of my favorite filmmakers. I think it was Chani. I think it was Zendaya's. But they weren't saying that. Everything was very secret.
And this was when she was asked, what's a role people would be surprised you auditioned for? So if that question wasn't asked, we'd probably never know that she auditioned for Dune, unless she possibly divulged that somewhere in the future. And in this clip she's saying that she was a fan of David Lynch's Dune, which I thought was interesting. I would have liked to pick her brain about which movie is her favourite in Denis Villeneuve's filmography. I get the feeling that it's one of the more darker ones like Sicario or Prisoners, or perhaps even Incendies. It would make sense that she was drawn to more of Denis Villeneuve's work that centered more around the female protagonist, because Denis likes to focus on the females in his movies, and he has said before that he feels comfortable looking through the lens of a female in his films, which is why he focused on the Bene Gesserit in Dune, and why in Dune Part 2 he sees Paul through Chani's eyes. The article goes on to say that Ortega also shared that she believes she was reading for the role of Chani, played by Zendaya, across both Dune entries. So I'm pretty sure that it was Chani that she was auditioning for, because she doesn't fit any other type of character necessarily that would be in the film. And she has those kind of features that do mirror the Chani character, as opposed to others that were featured in the film, like Jessica, for example. She would be too young for that role, or perhaps some of the Baron's servants. I just don't think she has that same kind of look. They went for specific features for those servants. You know, they had to have alopecia, for example. Of course, Jenna Ortega doesn't have that, and things like that. So it's a safe bet that the audition was actually for Chani. And don't forget, there were actually 6 or 7, I forget the number, but I believe it's 6 women who did audition for the role of Chani. And the list of those people who did audition for the role of Chani is still incomplete. We don't know everybody who auditioned. Drop a comment who you think auditioned for the role of Chani. But I know at least 4 who did, so this is the list that I have of who auditioned for the role of Chani in Denis Villeneuve's Dune movies. The first name to be attached to the role of Chani in Denis Villeneuve's Dune was Mary Herman, who at the time initially had a modelling background and was transitioning to becoming an actor. And this was revealed after a kind of casting call leak, suggesting that the studio was looking for a woman of Middle Eastern, African or Latin Hispanic descent. And at the time, Timothée Chalamet's agent intervened, but it still seems that Mary Herman did audition for the role at least. But of course we know she didn't get the role. When some of us took to Twitter to talk about this, Mary Herman herself replied to one of the tweets saying that she auditioned for the role, and that's how we all found out. It could have been one of my tweets, I don't remember, it was in 2018. And I think Mary had an interesting look about her. She looked like the type of woman you would see in a sprawling desert scene. And I believe she was told to put on a certain accent when she auditioned for the role. One time with an accent and one without. So even back then they were testing and toying with the accents and the way Chani would sound in the movie. Moving on to the next actress, we had Camilla Jordana Aloane, the French-Algerian actress, audition for the role of Chani. And in an interview she attests to actually seeing Zendaya there. I think it would have been amazing if Camilla was cast as Chani in Dune, because she has French-Algerian roots, so obviously in terms of the Algerian links to Dune, she would have fit perfectly. You know, they have the battle cry of Yahya Shuhada, which is linked to Algeria. She would have fit perfectly, and it would have kind of dispelled the constant accusations of the lack of Arab casting in Dune. This would have put it to bed immediately, but this is something that has lingered on, attached to the cinematic legacy of Dune, and it's something that could have been avoided if Camilla was cast as Chani. Again, I think she has a very interesting look for Chani, otherworldly, a desert beauty kind of vibe to her. So she would have fit pretty well, and she would have brought a certain flavour to the Dune films that carried those Middle Eastern tones, which a lot of people were looking for. She's also an actress and singer, similar to Zendaya. So it's interesting how she has the same type of dynamic as Zendaya in that respect. And so now we come to Jenna Ortega, who auditioned for Chani in Denis Villeneuve's Dune. I was actually really surprised to hear this, and it was a welcome surprise. I think she would have been a really good Chani. I think she has the right look, she has the elfin face that Herbert wrote about in the Dune books. And I think she could have brought a really interesting portrayal of Chani. She has that otherworldliness, the elfin face, she's the right size, she would have been the right age kind of thing at the time. There's a lot that would have fit and matched well with the Chani role. And it seems a lot of you agree. A lot of the tweets and comments that I've been seeing have said that, you know, she would have been a better Chani. Taking a look at some of those comments now, should have been her, I prefer her, would have been a better choice, would have been a better fit. That's on Twitter. Others said we got robbed, honestly would have done great. This is obviously referring to Jenna. Wish she got it. This is what was taken from us. But in the end we got Zendaya, who was the last actress we know who auditioned for the role. And so those are the 4 actresses we know who auditioned for the role, and the other 2 or 3 remain a mystery. Perhaps we'll find out some interesting candidates in the near future. But yeah, I think Jenna Ortega would have been a really interesting choice for the role of Chani, and she also seems to be quite politically, spiritually aware of her environment, her surroundings, and the things that are going on in the world. And she seems to be quite outspoken about those things, which may have worked in Dune's favour ultimately, or not, who knows. But I do wonder at how she would have tackled Denis Villeneuve's vision for Chani in Dune Part 2. For some reason I feel that there would have been some kind of tension, friction between the choices that were made and her delivery of it. It's just an inkling I get. I could be wrong. Some even say that she would have been better than Zendaya. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. So it seems that most of the reactions to this news have been positive, and they would have welcomed Jenna Ortega as Chani in Dune. I would have loved to have seen her as a Fremen warrior. Can we please start doing drawings of Jenna Ortega as Chani in Dune? I'd love to see some fan art and how you envision her look to be in the role. And if you make some art, you can tag me on Instagram or X and I should hopefully see it. And who knows, maybe she can be a character in the future adaptations of Dune. Still a lot more to come on this channel. We'll be exploring the Dune Prophecy show as it develops, and a whole new series on the Dune movies coming soon, so stay tuned for that. Check out some of my other Dune content or some of my other popular culture videos here.